Hello, we're back again, and this is That's Ridiculous with me, Joe McElderry, and the icon, the legend, Grandma Hilda. And this week, we're also joined by another Northeast icon and legend, my lovely friend, Steph McGovern. Hello.
Hello! This is so exciting.
Well, I mean, you've only popped over for a cup of coffee,
Yeah.
and we've dragged you into it. Welcome to the shed, first of all. We've dragged you in, and here you are, but welcome.
Thank you very much. I am buzzing to be here. But this is the type of thing that happens with you. You pop round for a cuppa and you end up broadcasting to the nation.
And you've never met Grandma Hilda before, have you? This is the first
I
time.
can't believe we've not met before, Hilda. But I mean, you're an icon. We all know who you are.
Oh, I doubt it.
I know you are.
I doubt it.
And also, Steph lives 5 minutes from me, so we've become. Well, I met you on your show.
Yes.
You interviewed me for. What was I doing at the time? Oh, some tour.
The George Michael
Yes.
stuff, wasn't it?
And then you text me and were like, "I live round the corner here." So now we've become little night out buddies, and yeah, many a night out, swimming in the sea.
We do that occasionally. We occasionally do healthy things, but mainly it's us at 4 a.m. in some dodgy takeaway.
Well, actually, I was trying to think of a couple of things to bring up of nights out we've had, and the first one that I thought of was Leeds Pride. You brought me into Leeds Pride for the day, and one of a lovely guy that works with you dropped us off.
Yeah.
And picked her up, and he picked her up at about 12 at night, and drove her back to Newcastle, and we sang Wicked songs. We sang the same Wicked song in his ear for an hour and a half home, was it?
Yeah, it was. I mean, Hilda, I'm glad you weren't there because
Just as well.
yeah, because your ears would have been in pain because obviously Joe can sing, but I cannot. But I was singing as if I was as good as Joe. So it was the poor lad dropping us home who was sober and we were not, was
Wow.
tortured by it. But you know what? I was going through my phone the other day, clearing out my WhatsApp, and I'd seen a message from him, and the last thing he'd said to me, which was back then, was, "Oh, it's fine. I think I enjoyed it." But I haven't heard from him since.
I mean, we sang in his ear.
Yeah.
In his ear. And do you remember?
Defying gravity.
And I also had a gig the next day, and I was going to you, Steph, I don't want to sing anymore because I'm protecting my voice. And you were like, "Sing another one. Sing another
Come on, you. That's your
Oh.
job.
Speaking of which, shall we all have a drink? Grandma, would you like a little whiskey?
Yes, please.
Right, hang on. Would you have a whiskey, Steph? You
Yeah,
have a
go
little
on
whiskey.
then. I like the way Hilda's got her own merch.
She gets a little merchandise cup.
Yeah.
She doesn't like too much whiskey, though, do you, Grandma?
No. I'll tell you when.
Right.
Well,
Well,
I loved you have it neat.
no.
she has a tiny bit of lemonade in, don't
Yeah.
you?
Filled up with lemonade.
But you know what? I forgot.
Diet lemonade.
Diet, right. Gonna keep the
But do you know what,
slimline.
Steph? I forgot to bring the lemonade in, so you are going to have it neat. But I know you can handle
Is
that.
there even ice?
No, not even ice.
Oh my God.
So
This is basically a shot. Is
we
that
really
what we're having?
we really go overboard here. There you go.
Thank you very much. Cheers, everyone.
And mine's in here. Cheers, everybody. Cheers. Right, so Steph, we've obviously mentioned that you live in the Northeast. So I want to know 3 things. You've kind of you've been a bit like me. You've lived here, there and everywhere, haven't you?
Yeah.
What's 3 things that you love about the Northeast?
I think first, number one, our beaches
Yeah.
are absolutely amazing. I spend as much time as I can on them. And Hilda, I bet you love the beaches
I
as well.
do.
Yeah,
Yes.
you can't beat them, can you?
No.
You could take me anywhere in the world, and I still think our beaches are better.
Yeah. Well, I was away in the summer, and I was in Ibiza, which was amazing. And I went for a run one morning, and I was running along, and I was like, South Shields Beach is better than this. I mean, we just don't get the weather, but in terms of sand and sea and visual,
Yeah,
I was like, this beach is lovely, but it's not as good as South Shields. Maybe I'm biased, but
yeah. And we get the dolphins and all sorts, don't we, and the seals.
Yeah.
It's dead nice. That's my number one, though, the beaches. I'd say second is the people.
yeah.
Because I just don't think you can beat our, humour. And, we get a lot of stuff thrown at us, don't we? We're always mentioned on the news for the wrong reasons. But we take it in our stride and we crack gags about stuff.
Yeah.
And we, I just think that kind of resilience we have and that humour is you don't get that anywhere else in the world either.
There's also, what I always say to people, there's a massive community spirit that is always it's just within people here.
Yeah.
That sometimes you go to other places and people go, God, I wish my hometown was like that. They really get behind people. I always
Yeah.
think If you do anything in the Northeast, people always support you.
Yeah.
Like they've got that great
Oh,
community
totally.
spirit.
They get behind you.
Yeah.
The only thing is that you can't get out of a shop without speaking to about 17 people, can you? Do you have that, Hilda, where you're like out shopping and you're like, oh, I just want to get out now?
Yeah. Especially when you're Joe McElroy's grandma.
Well,
That's what they say every time when they stop is, are you Joe McElroy's grandma?
Do you say yeah or do you pretend you're not?
I say yes.
Well, she's been getting stopped now because I've been putting her on. Well, you'd have seen Steph.
Yeah. TikTok.
TikTok and
And-
Instagram. People are now stopping her. Have you had any more stops
And
recently?
I don't know anything about TikTok. I don't even go on computers or anything like that. So a young lady who was a beautiful looking girl came in Asda just on Wednesday saying, I have a good laugh at you on watching you on TikTok. I said, do you? She said, yes, you're really funny. I thought, well, if I've been on, I've been serious. I'm not, I said to her, I don't know what's funny about it. But poor soul having to look at me on the telly. I'm going to tell Joe when I get home, I thought to myself. But he already knows.
People love it.
I know, but I haven't ever seen it.
That's probably for the best.
Yeah. Do you know what? Well, I don't watch myself back. Do you?
No.
Exactly.
I can't do it.
You're just like all the rest of us. It's, you just don't watch yourself.
I don't go on social media at all.
No.
Yeah.
I haven't got time. I don't know where all you young people get time.
That's a good point, actually.
True.
We waste a lot of time on it.
It's a huge part of the industry
There's
now.
good and there's bad.
Yes.
Yeah.
Very true.
But, you've got to weigh up whether to get rid of it or have all the good and bad.
True. Pros and cons.
I don't think you'll get rid of it now, like.
No.
No.
Definitely not.
I know, but do you know what? Part of me would quite like to. Just have a break from it for a few weeks.
Well, have you seen ITV? They're putting talk to your friends.
Oh, yes, that's their
Have you
campaign,
seen
isn't
that?
it? Yeah.
Well, that's because nobody talks to their
Yeah.
friends.
I'll talk to Joe.
When you see a load of people of all, that's how I don't know about TikTok.
What do you mean?
Because when I've come to his house, they've all got their phones and I think he is being rude, which I've told him. And all the time he's putting me on TikTok.
Wow.
So now I don't talk in front of him.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Well, we've got very sidetracked there and you didn't finish your third.
So I've done the beaches, the
People.
people. And I'd say, what's the third thing? I think it's just it's probably links to people, but it's just the kind of history of the place, what we've made here, that's all over the world, and the kind of the skills and the talent we have here. I know that sounds a bit wishy-washy,
No.
but I just think amazing people come from this area, and we often don't get the recognition, do we, for the things that have been made here. Great, whether it's great engineering stuff, bridges, but also like great TV
Shipyards.
shows, and things like Vera and stuff. All the stuff we've exported as well
Yeah.
around the world. I think that's something to be dead proud of too. So yeah, they'd be my 3 things. I can do 10 things, but we haven't got time for all that.
So we're going to be doing our usual today, Help Me Hilda, which we've had some incredible ones sent in over the past couple of episodes, and we're loving them so far. So thank you for sending them in. But first off, I want to know what you've been doing this week, Grandma.
Well, I've been shopping and I haven't been out much this week, have
No?
I?
Well, I've been away as well, so you haven't seen me. Have you missed us?
Well, yes.
You don't sound too sure.
That's a definite no.
Nah, she hasn't. She has not. Has she?
I'm a very
glad of the
busy person.
Have you been to drama this week? How's the
No,
play
we're on
going?
holiday from drama.
Oh,
And the youth really, at this time, all the grandmas are minding their children.
so it's
Grandchildren.
like your summer break.
Summer break.
Oh, nice. U3
So-
stands for University of the Third Age.
Yes, yeah, I've heard of this.
It's great.
Yeah, it is. It's really good, isn't it? I've done some work with them before.
Yeah. Yeah, which one?
So I did this thing with my dad where it was with Specsavers and the
All
University of
right.
Heritage, and it was about what skills older people can pass on to the younger generation. So it was me and my dad painting, because my dad's an artist, so he was teaching me how to paint. So it was just different things that I was learning. Then I learned a bit about gardening from a guy called Gerald Stratford, who's like become a bit of an icon in the gardening world. He's a pensioner, and so yeah, I've just learning different skills, because there's so much we could learn from like the older generations, aren't there? That we don't want to lose
We
when
had
you go.
30 classes.
30? What type of stuff did you do?
Everything we used to do. Languages, sewing, woodwork,
You had a holiday club, didn't you?
holiday club.
Yeah.
21 years we've been going in South Shields.
Hey, is it going that long? I didn't even know that.
Oh, it was before that. Down south, I used to go to visit relatives, and it was, well, Bromley. Bromley's got 3
Yeah.
groups of you, 3 or
So-
more now.
Do you go around, do you visit them basically?
No, we just, South Shields is, we had about 300 members and a waiting list.
That's good.
So, but now there's Sunderland's got one. They're all over now.
Yeah.
That's a podcast in itself.
Yeah. I
The
bet.
U3A. Imagine the gossip would get there, Grandma.
And we don't take notice of gossip. Well, I don't.
So what have you been up to, Steph? Phil Wayne, what's been happening?
So I've been doing quite a lot of travelling actually for work again, because the show that I was doing in Leeds is finished. So now I'm away up and down to London every week, which reminds me why I love the North so much. Every time I go to London and
Yeah.
like,
Dipping in and out.
yeah, it's fun. But yeah, so I go down there to do a podcast, because podcasts are all the thing now, aren't they? So yeah, so I've been
Grandma
going
still
down
doesn't know what a podcast
I
is.
haven't got a clue.
there. Yeah,
I haven't.
about what a podcast is.
Or any, no.
What do you think? Have you got an idea of what you think it is?
Well, I will after this is all finished. But I just haven't got a clue.
Well, we're 5 episodes in, so it's probably about time we're kind of...
Let me in on it.
Yeah, I think you've got an idea. And on that note, we've actually got some very exciting news, because we've had some very exciting meetings and we've got some news to share that we're going to be doing a live show
With an audience.
with an audience on the 19th of January at South Shields Football Club. How do you feel about that?
It depends. What do you mean, a live show?
So me and you will be on stage in front of an audience, and we're going to do the podcast in front of everyone, play games, audience interaction, a Q&A, all sorts. Are you ready for that?
Well, I'll think about it.
Do I need to speak to your agent? So if you do want to join that,
I don't believe in agents.
well, that's a whole other conversation. I'm sure Steph could delve in on that as well. So if you do want to join us, go to joemccowderyofficial.com and the tickets are on sale now, and you can join us on the 14th of January for our live show. Steph, if you're around, you can come join.
Oh, I want to be in the audience for this. This is
What
going to be
you going
epic.
to ask?
Yeah, I'll have to go on me online and get me ticket. Yeah.
No, we'll sort you out.
Oh, thanks.
We'll sort you out.
Mates rich.
Speaking of questions, who is your best interview you've ever done?
Oh, best interview I've ever done. Do you know what? Right, my favorite people to interview are people who are like what you'd class as kind of ordinary people, where something extraordinary's happened to them. Whether they've been there when big events happened, or whether something life changing has happened to them, and then they've had to adapt their life. They're by far the most interesting ones, because that's it's always fascinating hearing how people deal with stuff. But in terms of like celebrities and things. Like, I've interviewed Donald Trump before, so, yeah.
How was he? Tricky.
Am I allowed to swear in front of Hilda? No.
Yeah, you can. Yeah, she can, Grandma. She's allowed for him.
Yeah, he's... What's the most offensive word, do you think, Hilda, for someone? Like, what would you say is the word that would be the worst word to describe someone?
Idiot.
Yeah, he's an idiot.
Yeah, we're not allowed to swear in front of Grandma Hilda. So
Yeah,
you can't
I
even
know.
say
I
bloody
could,
hell.
the
So
thing is, do you know what was really funny then is I could see Joe just looking at me going, be careful here, be careful.
I sometimes say on stage, if I even say bloody hell or something, I get absolutely annihilated in the dressing room after, don't I, Grandma?
If you say no swear words, you haven't offended anyone.
Yeah.
I don't know why you don't use the good English language.
Well, sometimes when an accident happens on stage, it's a stressful set. You know, when you're in front of loads of people. Sometimes.
Just say, oh my gum.
My gum.
And also, we don't know stress, Joe. Hilda knows more stress than we do.
That is true. That is true. Who would your ultimate interview be, Grandma? Somebody you could talk to?
Well, I don't say interview, but the person I would have liked to have a chat with would have been the Queen.
Yeah. What would you ask her?
How she managed to do what she did in her whole life, never ever put a foot wrong.
Have you ever interviewed any of the royal family?
I've not interviewed them, but I've met quite a lot of them just through different work things, and it's such an interesting way of life, isn't it? Because they don't, like someone like the Queen, she would have to meet with all the different prime ministers and everything, and all the different people who she must have sat and spoken
The
to.
knowledge she must have had up here.
It's so far removed from like any kind of normal living though as well, isn't it? Like, you know, one of my kind of top showbiz stories that I've ever done, I think, but one of the coolest things was, it was for the BBC years ago, and they were doing a celebration of like youth and talent in the music industry, and it was a private concert inside Buckingham Palace.
Whoa.
With an invited audience of 20 people and the Queen. And it was in the... Do you remember when...
Only 20 people and the Queen?
And the Queen.
And at least 10 of them will have been her, like, courtiers or whatever they were all called.
And it was in the big royal ballroom. That one you always see on the telly whenever they do the Olympic, that big corridor where she walked down. Remember she walked down with James Bond, that famous corridor. And it was a huge 50-piece orchestra. And them gold-plated doors. And I remember being stood behind them. I was probably only about 20... I think I was 20 years old. And they called my name and they opened them big gold-plated doors, the guys in the red coats. And I walked into the middle of this ballroom. She just sat on a throne at the end of the room. And I remember just thinking, I've got no clue what the first lyric of this song is. It was Something's Coming from West Side Story. Really hard song to sing. And I remember just being like, what is my life? This is like, she was just sat, like, watching the show. And there was a couple of the other royal family there. I can't remember who it was. And then afterwards we went in this big room and like met her, and because she was in Buckingham Palace, she was just wandering around.
In her slippers.
Well, I mean, she looked fantastic. She had like the crown on and everything, and it was, and I was like, wow.
That is exactly what happened when I arrived today and met Hilda. So I got to the doors, and the gold-plated doors, and they were opened by, your servants, Hilda. And I walked in, and there you were on the throne with your crown on. So I don't know what Joe's going on about.
Well,
the Queen of the Northeast.
She is the Queen of the Northeast. She is. What's been your biggest showbiz moment where you've been like, what the hell's going on with my life?
Do you know what? One of mine is, it was when I was kind of doing both the job behind the scenes in telly, doing serious news stuff, but I'd also just dipped my toe into doing a bit of presenting. So I was kind of like straddling these two worlds of making serious news stuff and then doing quite fun telly stuff. And so I was working with Chris Evans on Radio 2. And he was throwing this party, and so he basically was like, right, everyone get in the car because we're going to my house for a party. And it was, it was like people like Kylie Minogue and stuff. It was just crazy. And then at the same time, there was quite a lot going on in the serious financial stuff going on. It was the credit crunch and all that. And I was drunk going to this party, and then my phone rang, and it was the guy I was working with on the news telling me that we had an interview with the Prime Minister and I had to get to Downing Street. And I remember sat drunk in this car like, oh my God, there's Kylie, and now I've got to go and interview the Prime Minister. And I just thought, this whole thing will never happen again in my life. And I just thought, alas from Borough, like if someone had said to me when I was a teenager, one day you're going to be, with all these people, and then you're going to have to leave the party because you're going to go and interview the Prime Minister, I'd have been like, what? Like, bring it on.
So you obviously did the interview?
Yes, but what happened was I then had to go to Downing Street and it all had to be kept quiet because it was like an exclusive interview with the Prime Minister. And it wasn't me doing the interview. I was kind of doing the stuff behind the scenes, the more important stuff, basically. We all know the people behind the scenes are the most important. And, but I was massively hungover. And so I was like, I'm going to have to be careful I don't throw up here like on the Prime Minister. So I remember in the end, I ended up going into the loo and I threw up in number 10. With yeah, I know. But it's, and I just remember thinking that this will never happen again in my life. Like,
well, I mean, it has though. You've had a pretty...
I haven't thrown up in number 10 again.
No, but you've had a pretty cool career.
Yeah, I have, yeah.
I wanted to ask you, which I don't think I've ever actually asked you when we've just been out for a catch-up. What is your thought process like when you're going in to interview somebody?
Yeah.
Because obviously for me, like doing a show, like you're in the zone, but with an interview, it goes in so many different directions. How do you prepare for that?
So I think the key is you've got to make sure you do your research on the person and make sure you are interested as well. I'm really nosy. I think my job is ideal for me because I'm dead nosy. I just want to know everything about people. So I just make sure I do before I go into the interview. And then I will kind of structure it in my head. Like, you know, you're often in interviews, you start with the big question everyone wants to know, you know, like what's going on with so-and-so, you know, that type of thing. But it kind of depends who you're interviewing as well, because obviously people are, you know, like when you came on, you were plugging the two, weren't you? So there's kind of a deal made behind the scenes, like you'll get a few questions on that.
Yeah.
But I'm also going to ask you about what happened on X Factor, what happened on there, and you know, it's
the headline questions.
Yes. Or if it's someone where, you know, something tragic has happened in their life, like they're the really hard interviews to do because, you know, it's hard not to get emotional, but you don't want to take away from someone's story by you getting upset. So often if it's about where someone, I don't know, someone might have lost a family member, I'd start by asking them about that family member so that they can talk about them first, you know. So like I just have little strategies for what type of interview it is. And also, but you know what, the hardest people to interview are not people who like are nervous necessarily or talk too much. It's the people who have just got a bit of an attitude problem and don't really want to be there.
Or like media trained within an inch of their life.
Exactly. Yeah. Exactly, the media trained ones where you know they've rehearsed everything and no matter what you ask them, they just keep saying the same thing.
Yeah.
They're awful because you just want people watching or listening to learn something about people.
And I've never really understood, because obviously coming from it from the other side of when you go on an interview, I've never really understood why people sit miserable in an interview, because I just think, well, why are you there?
Yes.
Why are you putting yourself through that situation if you hate it that much? Yeah. You know, and you're there to promote whatever at the end of the day, you're there to promote whatever you're selling. And so I never understand why people get really ratty in interviews. It doesn't make sense.
It's a privilege to do what we do, isn't it?
Speaking of like movie stars, who would play you in the movie of your life?
Oh, man. Do you know who play you, Hilda?
No.
You must have somebody, Grandma. Well, who's your favourite movie star, female?
Now or before?
Well, whoever.
Dead or alive?
Dead or alive.
I used to like to watch Doris Day.
Oh, yeah.
So she would play you?
Oh, I doubt it.
Do you know who I'd want to play me? But not if... I forgot what his name is. You know the guy who was in the Netflix series You?
Yes.
Yes, but obviously he'd have to be really nice and not go around killing people.
Well, yeah.
But I just
Unless you've got a dark side we don't know about.
No. But I just think he would play my life really well because he's a great actor. I forgot his name. Something Pegley or Joe Pegley or something he's called, something like that. Probably not that.
I think I'd want someone like Cameron Diaz or someone like that.
I could see
someone who totally doesn't look like me, but just so I can imagine that that's what I do look like.
No, I think I could see that. That's a good link.
Do you know I used to get, when I was younger, right, all the time mistaken for Princess Diana when she was alive, yeah? I used to, can I do the look for you, Hilda? See if you can see it in my face. Are you ready?
Yes. I can say that.
Can you?
Actually,
You're not just humouring me.
When you do that, actually, I can.
You can, yes.
It's the same eye look.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know, I mean, I couldn't be any further from being part of the royal family, but still.
Right, it is now time for the part that you love the most, Grandma.
Oh.
It's Help Me, Hilda. And seeing as you're here, Steph, we thought you could help with some of the dilemmas.
Oh, God. Right.
So we've had some really, really good ones sent in so far. Quite scandalous, actually. I didn't think there would be as scandalous as there have been, but here we go. Are you ready?
Yeah.
Help me, Hilda. How do I find love? Last week on the podcast, you were talking about dating apps. Hilda, you said you preferred it back in your day when you met somebody in person, which we did all agree with. I'm a 50-year-old female, divorced. My children have moved off to uni and I'm lonely. I've tried dating apps and not really got anywhere. Plus, I'm with you, Hilda. You don't know who you're actually meeting, but it's impossible to meet people out and about. I don't really have the confidence to just start chatting to people. I'm active, love socialising, always out, but it's been years now. Surely it's just not going to happen to me. Do you have any advice?
Not much. My advice is join something like the U3A.
Well, she's 50, so she's probably a bit too young for
Oh,
the U3A.
yes. Oh, sorry. That's no good. I'm just trying to think.
But you could join another group,
Yeah.
another group class of some sort, like fitness classes.
Yes.
Yeah,
there's-
walking groups.
Oh,
Shall I tell you the new thing now that apparently everybody is saying is the new date and the way to meet
Oh,
people
God, what?
is a run club. Apparently, the
Yeah.
run clubs, it's gone massive on TikTok. And run clubs, people are like literally going to a run club 3 weeks in, meeting the love of their life.
But I cannot speak when I'm running. Do you remember? Sometimes I go running with Joe and he'll
I
be
cannot
like,
run.
I bet you could. Sometimes I'll go running with Joe and he'll be chatting away to me and I'll be like, can we just run?
Yeah, but the
What
run club...
about walking the dog?
Yeah, well, dog walking
Yeah.
classes. But the run club, the idea is you do like a 5K run, all at your own speeds, and at the end you run to a cafe, and they have like a social, and you get like a free cup of coffee, or there's a couple around here, and like free donut at the end, or a slice of pizza, or they do a run and a sea dip. So maybe that's where she could, if she's a runner or a gym goer, she could do that.
But
Or
if
a
you're
line
not-
dancing.
Line dancing,
Line
very specific.
dancing. There's a club in South Shields. Well, 2 or 3 line dancers.
Oh, well.
Clubs that you can join.
That's a good shout, that. A line dancing, because
Yeah.
that is not too high paced, so you're not going to overly sweat like you might in a run.
A lot of partner work.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you could get,
Is there
Well,
partner
yeah, you know
work
when
in
you've
line
got to do
dancing?
the,
You're just in a line?
you do like the clap thing and the turn around. Or not? Am I thinking of a different kind of dancing,
Well,
maybe?
It's harder than you think,
Yeah.
because I joined the one.
Oh, did you?
Yes, and I'm left-handed, and everybody was going that way, and I was going. And so I give it up.
Oh, did you?
Yes.
Did you
I
enjoy it,
didn't
though?
meet anyone.
Oh.
I wasn't looking, mind.
It is really hard to meet people now, though. You're really good at this. I've actually said this to you
Yeah.
before. Steph will literally, if I say I fancy somebody, she would quite happily walk up to them and just be like, my mate's interested in you. Like, I don't have the guts to do that.
Yeah.
You are very good at that.
I love matchmaking.
Yeah.
I really do. Like, I love trying to work out who my friends who are single might get on with, because it is really hard. Like, how do you, I don't think it is the same as meeting in a bar anymore like we used to do when we were younger, or, going to a dance or whatever you would have done. But I think it is tricky. And do you know what? Actually, one of my most successful matchmaking stories, they've just got married. And, Carol, who does the weather on BBC Breakfast, I fixed her up with a fella she's just married. And it was me going up to him and saying, my mate fancies you. And it worked.
So we need a couple of more goes with that then for me.
Well, I've
and I might
tried
get
it,
a second
haven't
date.
I know.
You're too fussy.
Well, yeah, maybe.
Yes.
So what are we saying? We're going to say join classes to her.
Yeah.
Join some classes.
Ask
do
your
some.
friends to
Yeah.
help.
Yeah.
Friends are really good at knowing what you might not know you need. Because the problem
Yeah.
is, you probably go for a certain type, Joe. Tell me, Hilda, if you think I'm right. You say he's too fussy. What's he fussy about? Is he because he focuses too much on looks or money, or what do you think?
No, not money or looks. He
Oh, great,
focuses-
thanks.
No, you don't. You're not looking at people and thinking, well, they're not good looking. I'm not going to.
If you ask me, they need more money.
And you're not bothered about whether they've got
No,
money or
I-
not.
What is he bothered about? I'd love to know from your take, because you could help
I
me
think
help
he
him.
just over thinks things.
Mm.
And he doesn't really. And to get to know the person, you've got to get a second date.
Yeah. No, I am a bit of an overthinker. I like
Yeah.
to, I think we've spoke about this. I like to be in control all the time. And I think that's a work thing. And I try and adapt that into my dating life. And I realise you can't do that. Sometimes you've just got to let go of the control and just go with the flow.
So what do you think he should do, Hilda?
Well, exactly what he's saying.
Yeah.
The thing is, when you meet someone and you think this is the one for me, you've got to work at it from there on. You're not going to change that person. You've got to accept the person's faults and everything.
Flaws and
really.
all. Flaws and
That's
all.
it. It's
And-
about compromise, isn't it, as well?
Mhm.
Like, you've got to...
You've got to be their best friend first,
Mm.
I think. Anyway,
I think that's really good advice.
Yeah.
now when I went out with my husband for 4 years before I considered thinking about, well, he's the one for me, because you're never sure. But he was the one for me,
Yeah.
and it still is.
Yeah.
But you've got to be careful who you're picking, because it's for the rest of your life.
Yeah.
Very true.
You've got to be serious about it.
Yeah, I like the fact you took your time, though. Good 4 years before you'd... decide whether it was
But I
serious
was
or
only
not.
young. I mean, now they use when I had my first child, I was 24 and I was an older mother. They classed you as an older mother
24?
at 24. But now, you know, they're taking far too long to make their mind up.
Yeah, well, I mean, I had my child at 38, so I was classed as geriatric when I had her. They said that at the hospital. I'm a
Well,
geriatric
that's
mother.
what they said to me, the older mother
Yeah.
at 24. But now they're taking too long.
Yeah, I think that's fair, isn't it? We are taking too long at everything these days.
Mhm.
Right, well, there you are, Joe.
There we go.
Speed up, stop overthinking, crack on.
Hang on a minute. How has this Help Me Hilda turned into... I didn't ask for any help.
Well, you're our priority, Joe.
Yeah, you are.
Thank you, that's very kind. Right, moving on swiftly. Let's stop talking about me. Help me, Hilda. It's been the toughest time of my life. Hey, Joe and Hilda. Firstly, I want to say how much I love your podcast. It's been getting me through a really tough time. My husband, thank you for that. My husband cheated on me before COVID with a colleague. A friend saw him out with her. We have 2 young children. He denied it, but my friend had recorded a video of them together. The scandal. So I instantly went for a divorce. I've got a new house, a new amazing job, and my life couldn't be better. But now he wants me back.
Oh.
And our family unit to be whole again. Do I take him back to keep our family together? Oh my God. That's deep.
That's a hard one. Because when children are involved, you've got to have big things to think about. But once anyone's cheated to that extent and then still denying it, that would be the end for me, personally. But when you've got children, it's a big decision to make. And if you do decide to go back, you never have to mention that again, which is very hard for anyone to do. It'll all be creeping up in your mind all the time. So it's up to you whether you want to make a life for yourself. He'll be the children's father till the end of time, really. So you've got to make sure that the children know that. And that's what you do, in my opinion. But I wouldn't like to have to be sitting making your decision now.
Very good answer. But just to go back to what she said our life couldn't be better.
Well,
So you've got to
I just think if your life's better, stay with it.
I think as well, the most important lesson and environment you can create for your kids is one where you're happy in it. You want, because that's all we're bothered about. All we want is for our kids to be happy. And if they see you happy, then that's
it.
It's hard though, isn't it?
It
Yeah.
is.
Because I know I've got a friend who's done that, who's taken someone back who cheated on her. And every time I see him, I think about it. So I don't know what it's like for her. I just keep...
It's a lot of resentment that is like really difficult to let go of, I would imagine. You know what I mean? I've had people cheat on me in the past, not in like massively long relationships, but it is the worst thing.
Yeah.
Like it's worse than any other thing when you know that somebody's done that behind your back.
And you can't
Horrible.
trust them again.
But it's just I just think it just dents your self-worth like nothing else. Even though it's nothing to do with you. But it still hits you in that core where you're like, ugh.
The other thing that I think's interesting about that story, right, is the fact he has blatantly seen she's happier without him, and now she wants back, and now he wants back in, doesn't he? Because have you had that, Joe, where people have got in touch when they see you living your life? The exes always come back.
They always
start dropping you a couple of little messages.
They always, I find they always come back, and it's always when you've like got through it and you feel all right, and then it's like, hi.
Yeah.
And you're like, oh, here we go. Here we go. It's a proper narcissistic trait, I think.
Yeah, it is actually, isn't it?
I love using that word.
I know it's I overuse the word narcissist. I use it to describe most people, actually.
I know, but
before I came today, I thought, well, I've got to see Joy's a bit of a narcissist.
It was my dream, you know, to get narcissist in a song.
Oh, was it?
Yes, I used to, every writing session that I did, I used to be like, I want the word narcissist. And I did it on a song a few years back. I forgot the lyric now. You said, don't worry, my love, as you spun another narcissist lie.
I love it.
And I was like, yes. And every time I sing it now, I'm like, go on.
That's
a bit for all the people that have me off.
Yeah, but that is a bit narcissistic to want narcissist in your song.
Yeah, it's a good job you can't
We've established that I overthink things. I'm a narcissist. Anything else from the team over there?
I'm loving hearing Hilda's thoughts on you more than anything. Is there anything else to share that we need to know about Joe?
No.
Any bad habits?
Well, if I would have to have an hour-long story.
Biting my nails, but I've stopped.
Biting his nails.
Haven't bit them for a year now.
Having to have his teeth done because he was always opening bottles.
Weird.
No, I used to chew bottle tops.
All right.
So my nervous twitch before I perform has always been like chewing a pen lid, biting my nails, or like, you know, like a Diet Coke plastic top.
And walking
just
up and
sitting
down.
like in a dressing room, like it's like a proper nervous thing. I used to always do it, and people used to say it was, oh, that's disgusting, like why? And it would always happen before I was on stage,
right?
Like half an hour before. But since I've had my Invisalign fitted, I can't do it anymore, and I've completely broke the habit. So, but it is a bit of a disgusting habit, so I'm glad I have.
Well, I'm glad we've covered that anyway.
Yeah.
And cleaned it up.
So
Thanks,
what
Hilda.
she should do? She should carry on with that amazing life.
I would carry on with your amazing life.
Yeah, because like you say, Hilda, you can still make sure he's part of the kids' lives. That's not going to change.
That's the important thing when couples break up, because you don't know him, you can't live with someone.
Living with someone's hard, though, isn't it?
It is, even when you like them.
Yeah, I know. I agree.
I offered Grandma to come and live with me, and she point blank refused. She said she could think of nothing worse than living with a slob like me.
An untidy, I didn't say slob.
You said slob, you
I
did.
said untidy person.
Slob.
He's the most untidy person you'll ever meet.
Well, do you know, it's funny because today I brought back some pants he left at my house. They've been at my house for about 6 months.
Swim shorts, wasn't it?
Swim
We went in
shorts,
for a CD.
some boxes and a towel that you just casually left on the floor of my house 6 months ago.
Well, he leaves everything on the floor.
Yeah. He needs help, doesn't he?
I'm starting to regret this setup here. This
Well, I told you if you want me to say anything, I'm not telling lies.
Well, that's true.
It's no good coming on and telling everybody,
How
well,
great
all
I am.
your fans know what you like. And they still love you so. Poor souls.
Right, are you ready for word of the week?
Yeah.
So every week we've been giving Grandma a word that of the new generation language.
Yeah.
And she's got to guess what it means.
Brilliant.
So she's had brat coded, ghosted, spilling the tea.
And I
Some of them are
didn't know any
sayings.
of them.
So this week's one, this is going to be interesting, is bussin'. If something is bussin',
Buzzing.
bussin',
B-U-S.
B-U-S-S-I-N.
Buzzing.
Bussing.
Someone who hasn't got a car has to always buzz. That would be me.
That is the obvious one.
That's obvious.
I like that.
But in the context, if I said, oh, that's bussin' that.
I've never heard that. Like, Have you said that?
I've never said that. I have heard it, but I've
Is
never.
it in your business, the show business? Or is it in everyday life, like my business?
I'm going to use that. Is it in your business, the show
show
business?
Well, that's what you live in, isn't it?
No. So if I said, "Oh, that whiskey's bussing,"
Well, is it off?
no.
Well, whiskey doesn't go off, so it's not
Well,
that.
you don't have it enough for it to go off anyways. You drink it before it goes. That song's bussing.
Was like top of the range,
Yeah, kind of.
top of the pops.
Well, that's really good. It means that something's really good.
Oh, well, it's number one.
Like your jacket's bussing.
It is as
It's
well.
glittering.
No, I've told you what it is. It means that's really good.
Well, that's ridiculous, isn't it?
Yeah.
No wonder the young ones don't know what you're talking about.
Well, to be fair, I don't know what any of these things are, but it's just funny finding out.
Well,
your
where
take
did
on
you
them.
learn it?
I get them offline. The Urban Dictionary.
You want
Or
to
social
find
media.
something
You go.
else to do.
What is really interesting now in this day and age is to go under people's Instagram photos and see what people write on comments, and you're like, what on earth are people saying? Like comments
Yeah.
about, like, you know, everyone just writes vibes. You know,
I use
under a-
vibes a bit,
Do you?
actually. Yeah. Good vibes. But that makes
Good
sense.
feeling.
Yeah. I
Wow.
see. She's got her Urban Dictionary sorted of that one.
And what another one I've noticed that people do on social media, if a couple, in like a friendship group, if like a couple are together and they post a holiday photo and then their friends all post on it, mum and dad, you know, like as if they're the mum and dad of the friendship group.
Right.
And I find that quite odd. I'm like,
Do you know
can't you
what
just
you
be
need
like,
to
oh, you
do?
both look lovely?
Why don't you just stop looking at the comments?
Yeah, true. I just find it
Get
interesting.
out,
I
Mob.
ju-
Get out of your shed.
Get out your
Live your
shit.
life.
Stop
Why
being a
don't-
narcissist and stop
Why don't
overthinking.
you listen to the Orchard?
Right, I will. I will. Right, I'm wrapping this up before we get into anything more deep. Right, you and Steph are going to play the game of three against each other.
Oh,
Okay.
well, you'll win this, like.
I don't know.
Grandma, you're going to have yours first. You got 10 seconds. You know how it rolls. You failed miserably last week, so let's see how good you get this week. So, starting with 3 northeast landmarks. Go.
Suter Point,
Mm-hmm.
the cliffs,
Yes.
and the beaches.
All right, great. I mean, we'll go with that. Right, ready, Grandma? Another one. 3 superheroes. Go.
Oh, God.
Superheroes. Come on.
Superheroes. Joe McKelvey.
He wishes.
You're crawling now because you've been horrible to us this episode.
I don't know any superheroes.
Batman, Superman, Spider-Man.
Oh, come on.
Right. Last one for you. 3 presidents or prime ministers. Go.
Oh, dear me. Thatcher.
Yes.
Oh, terrible.
Boris Johnson.
To be
Yeah.
fair, it's been a lot.
Yeah.
Like, you know.
I know, but I should remember. Well, I shouldn't at my age.
No, you
anyway.
shouldn't.
No, they're not the
I
most
don't
important
watch the
people to you.
government these days.
Nah.
Right, Steph, you ready for yours?
All right, go on.
I'm hoping you'll get this.
Oh,
3 Beyonce songs. Go.
Hello. Oh my God, I don't think of any. Run the world.
Yes.
And I can't think.
Crazy in Love.
Crazy in Love. Yeah.
Right.
God, I couldn't.
Hold on the spot.
Man, this is really pressured.
3 rom-com movies. Go.
Love Actually.
Yeah.
Bridesmaids.
Yeah. Top one.
Something About Mary.
Yes. Smashed it. And last one, if you can't get this. 3 Geordie sayings. Go.
You're joking, aren't you? Oh, no, it's more of a Middlesbrough one. Pet.
Howie man.
Howie man.
To be fair, I can't think of another.
No, but like, and also mine are all Teesside, so I'd get, shot in
Yeah,
Middlesbrough
that's
if I
true.
start doing Geordie
What's 3
phrases.
Teesside sayings?
You're joking, aren't you?
Right.
Shyburn's getting out.
Yeah.
Everyone says that, actually.
quite Geordie as
enough.
well.
Yeah. What else? Eee.
Oh, really? Just E. I like that. So, like, in the
Up the
context,
borough. That's another one.
in the context of if somebody taught you something that you didn't believe.
Eee. Or if, you ring my phone. Eee. Joe.
All right, yeah.
It's that kind of thing, isn't it? We say E all the time. Do you say E?
No,
Do you say pet?
I say why I man.
Do you? Why I'm? Oh, that's the other one. How did I not remember why I'm one?
Right, that's it.
Oh,
We've
lovely.
made it to the end. I've been annihilated by these two.
Yeah, what have you learned, Joe? That's what I
I've
want to know.
learned that I'm a deep narcissist. I'm an overthinker, and I need to stop reading the comments on Instagram and get out more.
Yay!
Have you two learned anything?
No.
I've learned I don't live in your world.
Well, we will be back next week for another episode. Have you got anything planned this week in the meantime, Grandma?
Not at the moment, Joe, but I'll let you know.
All right.
You're going out for lunch, aren't you?
Yes.
Oh, yeah, you go out for lunch. That'll be nice. You should go to our friend Evelyn's house for lunch. But big thank you to everybody that's listened to the episode. And if you enjoyed it, please like and subscribe. And as we mentioned before, we are doing a live show. So go to joemccowderyofficial.com for tickets on the 19th of January. And me and Grandma Hilda will be live on stage. Steph will be in the audience hurling insults at me. If you're just joined us for this episode and you missed out on any of the others, you can listen back to all the episodes on all of the podcast platforms. And we're also on social media. You can follow us on TikTok, Instagram at That's Ridiculous Official. And you can direct message us with all of your dilemmas and scandalous moments you've had in life. But before we go, it's the most important part of the show. Grandma, it's your words of wisdom.
What am I doing this week?
You tell me.
Well, my words of wisdom, enjoy your life.
And cheers to that.
And
Let's
cheers.
say cheers to that.
Yay.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Cheers, Steph. I can't
Cheers.
reach you, but cheers. We're in. Thank you so much for listening again. This was a Mixtape production, and a big thanks to Coleman's and South Shields Football Club, our amazing sponsors, with video and sound from Wycombe 89. I hope you have a great day and a great week, whatever you're doing. But until then, 1, 2, 3. Cheerio now. Steph's like, what the hell is going on?